Hi, I'm Holly. I'm the mom.
I'm Sydney, I'm the daughter, and today we're going to be talking about The Perfect Neighbor, which is on Netflix.
So, just a little disclosure at the beginning for you that are going to actually watch the Netflix documentary. Most of the footage that's used for this documentary is actually body cam footage from Marion County that was obtained through the FOIA Act, which is Freedom of Information Act.
So the documentary kind of starts out with you mostly just hear people talking and they're talking about a woman in the neighborhood, how she's unpleasant and stuff like that. She's mean to all the other kids. So we're in 2022. We're in Ocala, Florida, and this is honestly a nice little neighborhood. It seems like there's a lot of kids that all play together. Each family lives in, they call these places a quad, but it just seems like it's like two people that live side by side.
Kind of like a
Yeah,
duplex.
kind of like a duplex. There's big open fields where all these kids can play, so which they do. They go, they play football, they play tag, they have dogs that run around with them and stuff like that. That just normal kid stuff. And there is just this one neighbor that always seems to have an issue.
Who lives right on the side of this field.
Yeah, and she's in this quad with actually the landlord of the quad lives next to her, and he has already given all of these children permission to play in these fields next to his house. Um but she does not like that. She doesn't want them on her property whatsoever. And the landlord kind of makes it clear to her they're allowed to play.
But on top of that, it's not her property. When you're renting a place, your property is inside the domain.
Yes.
It is not outside.
Yeah.
So Susan goes ahead and puts up a bunch of no trespassing signs on the property line of the apartment building that she's living in.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, these kids have already been given permission to play in this field. And to me, yeah, I get it when you don't have little kids. It's annoying to have to listen to that. I work from home, so it would suck. But at the same time, we're in this age where kids don't play outside anymore.
No.
They're on the computer, they're on their tablets, they're on their phones. Like you have this whole neighborhood of kids playing outside. That's kind of cool.
Yes, exactly. Especially because this was 2022. This was when COVID was happening. And
Right.
so for kids to be able to still go out and play with each other and still have that connection is amazing because so many of us lost our connections during that time.
Right.
And I'm sorry, you are entitled to be child free. You are not entitled to a child free world.
Exactly.
So on February 25th of 2022, the police get a call from Susan Lawrence. She's claiming that a woman across the street from her, one of her neighbors, has thrown one of her no trespassing signs at her. So police get there and they talk to her and she's saying she threw the sign at me, she assaulted me and
She hit me in the
she hit
leg.
me in the leg. She's just such a victim right now. And so they go over and they talk to Ajika or AJ Owens and they ask her about it. And she's like, I did not hit that woman with a sign. She said, yes, I'll admit, I picked up the sign and I threw it behind me. I did not hit her with it. They went around, they asked some witnesses, both of children and adults, and everybody was like, that sign did not hit her.
Right. She tossed it over her shoulder.
Yeah,
That was it.
she didn't get assaulted like she's trying to claim.
But the neighbors also say that Susan has made it very clear that she does not want these children anywhere near her or her property or having to listen to them.
Yeah,
So, and she's also talking about how the neighbors also said that she's constantly claiming she's going to move. She was going to buy this place, but now she's going to move. Then move,
then
bitch.
move.
Why would you move into an area that clearly has a lot of children?
If you hate
If you
children.
hate children, move into an adult only condo. Like they have those.
Exactly.
And actually in Florida, they have whole trailer parks that are for 60 and up.
Yeah,
You don't have to live in a neighborhood with a lot of kids if you don't want to.
yeah. But after that, the police actually went over. They told Susan that they were not going to be arresting AJ. They wrote it off as a battery, but no arrests were made that day. They just kind of put it in a report and said anything else happens, let us know.
I had to laugh though because as they were leaving, the female police officer was like, "That lady's a bitch."
Yeah.
You could hear on her body cam, and I was like, "Yeah, she has this lady pegged.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what type of person Susan is."
It skips over to August 10th, which I'm sure that there were plenty of calls in between February and August.
I mean, the police definitely seem like this is becoming old hat to them. Like they
Yes.
seem when they show up, they're just kind of like, "Ugh."
Yeah, it's like it's a chore. It's not even just their job, it's a chore to go and visit Susan.
Right.
So, August 10th, 2022, they go over, and now Susan's complaint is that the kids are running around and screaming and being so loud. It's almost like they're children.
Right.
It's almost like they're doing exactly what kids do.
But when that doesn't garner the response that she wants, then she says they're running under her windows and doing it.
Yeah, she's trying to claim that they're going onto her property, and police get there, they ask everybody, and all the kids are like, "No, we're playing football over in his field, which we've been allowed to do."
Right. And all these kids know to just stay the fuck away from Susan
Yes.
and her property. They already know this.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not fucking with her. They're playing. And that's what she has a problem with.
Yes. So December 22nd of 2022, Susan calls the police again, and it's the same story. The kids are running around screaming like idiots. And then she goes, "I will admit I did call them," and then she says the R word. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And she says, "I called them the R words." And, she was like, she even said on the phone, she goes, "I just don't understand why they keep messing with me. I never come outside. I'm the perfect neighbor." And I'm like,
Bitch, you call every other day.
you literally have the police on speed dial, not just 911, but the police department closest to you.
Right.
Like, you have them on speed dial to come and take care of kids being kids.
And the thing is when the police show up, she is always so very calm and cordial to the police.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't doing anything. I asked them nicely to be quiet. It's so ridiculous. You know that anybody who puts up no trespassing signs because children are playing in a field is not someone who's talking nicely
Yes.
to people.
Yeah.
Also, nice people don't call people the R word.
Literally.
It's 2025. If you're still using that word, you're disgusting.
Well, and also, like, when the police, at this time, the police officer went over and was talking to the kids, and they were like, "She calls us the B word, she calls us the P word," which I assume is, like, the female area. I don't
May-
want to say it.
Maybe.
I don't know any other P words that would be bad.
Yeah.
But, like, she calls them all kinds of names. They tell the officer straight up. And it's like, the perfect neighbor doesn't call children names.
Right. And the perfect neighbor, if they have a real problem, goes over and talks to fucking parents. They don't try and reason with children.
Exactly.
And she's not reasoning with them anyway.
Arguing.
She's arguing with them and screaming at them, which is not normal.
Well, and the thing is that, she has this constant complaint about how they show no respect because you don't respect them.
Right.
I do not believe in respect your elders if your elders don't respect you.
Oh, for sure. I don't even believe in respect your elders. You respect people that show respect. End of
Yes.
story.
People who respect each other.
Right. If you don't treat me with respect, I'm not going to treat you with respect. And I've raised you to be the same exact way. I don't care that they're older than you and that they're an adult. If they don't respect you, you don't respect them.
At this time, it was also stated that Susan also, she'll like come home, she'll park her truck, and I guess she says that she parks her truck so that it could block out noise, which I'm like, doesn't even make any sense. But
It's a fucking truck, not a wall.
Yeah, like, and so she parks her truck, and then she'll go inside, and she'll wait for the kids to go out and start playing, and they play around the truck, but, all of the kids are like, "We don't touch her truck, we don't mess with her stuff, we know we're not supposed to," and then she'll just set off the car alarm.
I do remember the parents in the neighborhood saying that she would set the alarm off when they were watching to make sure their kids weren't near the truck or touching the truck. just walking, because the thing is it's still a driveway that faces the street.
Mhm.
So they can't walk through her house to get, if they live on the other side of her, to get to this field, or go home. So they
Yeah.
have to walk down and get on the street and go on the sidewalk. And that's where they're close to her truck, which basically she's saying don't use the sidewalk.
Literally. It's like, oh, so you think that you own the sidewalk too.
Right.
That's crazy.
I guarantee she's one of those people that would lose her fucking mind if someone parked in front of her house.
Oh, 100%.
To be fair, I don't like it. I've never been a fan of someone parking in front of my house.
Yeah.
But I also am a reasonable person and know I don't own the street.
So alongside with her setting off the alarms to her trucks, with the police being here, she also tells them just out of the blue that, and she doesn't say who, but I'm going to assume probably AJ. She says that, that one of the women that she always has a problem with has threatened to drag her out and beat her ass. And, even the police ask AJ, and she's like, I have never threatened that woman. And of course, it's hard to tell from there because, like, honestly, me being a mom, I would threaten to beat someone's
Right.
ass. And I'm sure, if she did say that, she probably wouldn't want to say it to not get in trouble. But with as much as this lady fucks with those kids, I would want to beat her ass too.
Right. I mean, I'm definitely not saying that AJ didn't say it, but what I am saying is if she did,
I
it was
understand.
fucking deserved.
Yeah, I understand why.
And I think a little of this was also racism.
Oh, 100%.
Because she doesn't seem to have words with the white mom that
Mm-mm.
lives right near them.
Yeah, no.
Seems to be very targeted at AJ and her kids.
Mm-hmm. March 14th, 2023. This actually is a call from a man, and he calls the police. There's some sort of gated area where you actually need to be registered to get into the area. And
I think it's the dump, isn't it?
I believe so. And he was like, the gate was closed, and this woman in her truck was ramming against the gate trying to get out. And he was like, I could see her in the truck. I don't really know who she is. And he knew all the details of the truck. So the police track it back, and it's Susan's truck.
Right.
They get to her house. And first of all, the police officer has to knock 3 different times to get her out. And mind you, it is late. And then once he knocks the 3rd time, she screams, roars, 1 minute.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're pleasant. You're super pleasant. And then she peeks out of the like hanging curtains from the sliding door, and I think she really realizes who she's talking to. She probably
Mhm.
just thinks it's one of the kids. And so, yeah, she opens the door, and
I actually love this part of the video.
I know. And, the officer is like, did you go anywhere today? She claims she's been home all day long. That she has not left home, da-da-da. And he goes, so is there anybody that would be driving your truck? And she goes, oh, well, actually, I went out because I had a flat. So all of a sudden, you weren't home all day long.
Right.
All of a sudden. And then she gets read her Miranda rights. He reads the Miranda rights, but she's also like, as he's reading it, she's then like, I need to go put something on, as if she's not just wearing a nightgown already. And she goes and gets like something to throw over.
Well,
her
but he tells
shoulders.
her, no, don't go back in the house, because that's dangerous for police
Yes.
officers. You never know. You don't know these people. They may seem like they won't shoot you, but they could be going in and getting a gun.
Yeah.
So,
So he follows her in.
right. And so he's like, no, but she just does what the fuck she wants.
And honestly, I didn't like that because if she wasn't white, they would have taken her down.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
I'm sorry, but it didn't matter that people are like, oh, she's an old woman. No, she's white.
Yeah.
He reads the Miranda rights, and then he asks, do you want to talk to me at this time? And all of a sudden she goes, no. And he was kind of shocked. He was like,
yeah.
oh. And he was like, you don't want to talk to me. And she goes, no. And he goes, okay, well, here's what's going to happen. we're going to put you in a lineup with a bunch of other people. And then when you get identified, and all of a sudden she changes her tune.
Oh, I didn't know that's what you meant.
Yeah. I didn't know it was that.
It's too fucking late, because the whole reason he read her Miranda rights was because that man was pressing charges.
Mhm.
And anything, you have to tell someone who is going to have charges pressed on them that anything they say can and will be used against them in a court of law.
Exactly.
You have to, or anything she says after that to him is inadmissible in the court case. So he knows that charges are being pressed, which is why if you get read your Miranda rights, you either cooperate, which is your right to do, or you ask for a lawyer. But once you ask for the lawyer, that's the end.
That's it. You don't get to talk anymore.
They can't go back, and you can't change your mind.
Yeah.
That's it. So she thought she was being fucking smart, and she was just going to be a dick and be like, no. But she didn't realize what was coming next.
So April 25th, 2023, police get another call from Susan, and she's claiming that these kids are chasing a dog, like chasing a little puppy around or something like that. And then she's saying that they're trying to put the puppy in her truck. And so, police get there, they talk to Susan, and she shows them a picture of the kid, which to me just feels creepy. Just point him out. You don't need to take a whole photo of him unless he was really doing something bad.
Well, what's crazy to me is the photo of the child. Like you were able to take a photo of him, but you weren't able to take a photo of him doing what you said he was doing.
Exactly. You have no video evidence, but you have a picture of him playing.
Right.
So they go over and they start talking to this man that's across the street. I didn't ever catch his name. I'm not sure.
But he's AJ's neighbor.
Yeah. And, the police officer is telling him what Susan told him. And he starts to laugh. And he's like, those kids are playing with that dog. And that kid is not big enough to lift up that dog.
Yeah, he says it's like a standard poodle.
It's a standard poodle. While she's trying to say it's some little puppy. There's no little puppy anywhere to be found.
Right. This standard poodle, the neighbor is like, that standard poodle weighs more than that kid does.
Yeah, like he would not be able to lift that dog up.
Right.
So, yeah, it's just, and again, the police, they go and tell Susan they're like, there's nothing we can do. Anything else happens, call us. They go and talk to the man across the street, AJ's neighbor, and they're kind of giving him the same rundown they've given the rest of the parents of, just watch them, don't let them go over there, don't let them do this and that, and
because they're fucking tired of being there.
They're exhausted.
We're talking. This has been over a year now.
Yeah.
We're over a year into these calls and this body cam footage.
Yeah,
and I can only imagine that there were other incidences that just didn't make the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Because these cops know by now what they're walking into, and they're annoyed the minute they get out of the car.
Some of the cops are like basically designated to go to this area. Like there's a couple of them that you see recurring over and over and over because they just know the situation. And I would be annoyed because I'd be like, just because I know the situation doesn't mean you should send me out there. I'm getting pissed off.
See, I'm the type of person that if I was the cop, I would be like, you call one more time,
I'm going to arrest you.
I'm going to arrest you for abusing the 911 system.
Yes.
Like,
How
do it
they
again.
didn't- how they
Do it
didn't-
again, bitch.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Like how they never did that for her. I don't understand because she was abusing it.
She was.
And these body cam, like these clips are so far and wide apart that there's no way that there wasn't calls in between.
Exactly.
I wish that there was like an exact number of how many times.
I know. I wish that somebody had been able to count up all and post it somewhere so that we could find out, because I guarantee it's always more than what you see. In any documentary, anything happening, that leads up to a culmination of something crazy, there's always more going on that just didn't make it into the documentary.
Exactly. On May 22nd of 2023, Susan actually goes to the police station this time. She doesn't just call them, she goes and visits them herself. And it's just another case of trespassing.
But she wants someone arrested this time.
The officer asks her, do you want someone arrested? And she's like, oh, absolutely. And it's like, who do you want arrested?
Children.
An 11-year-old?
Right.
You want to arrest those kids? So, he tells her, he's like, I can make a police report, but you don't have any proof or evidence to show me that these kids are doing this. So I can take it down, but I can't do anything.
Right. Nothing's going to happen. No one's getting arrested.
And so, she kind of just accepts that. And,
Well, I don't think she accepts it. I think that's where things start taking a turn because things that she starts reporting after that become more malicious.
yeah.
I think that is where she's decided she needs to make the police believe her.
Yeah. And at that point, I don't know exactly when, but she had gotten a gun. And all of the kids and like even the adults reported that she would like be out on her front porch and she'd be waving it around in the air, basically as a threat. I mean, if you're going and showing children that you own a gun now, you're threatening them.
Right.
I don't care if you're not pointing it at them. That's an indirect, like, you should be scared of me now. Look what I have. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It 100% is an indirect threat, and the fact though that these neighbors were just so fucking tired of her that they didn't even bother reporting that, I would have. I
Yeah.
100% would have been like, she's out there waving a gun around and she's crazy.
Yeah. June 2nd, 2023. The cops get a call from Susan, and she's very distressed. She said she's fearing for her life. And that is because children are outside saying they're going to beat her up because she just threw all of their toys at them and across the field and shit. So these kids are, I don't know exactly if they were, but she's saying they're out there threatening to beat her up. And I'm like, first of all, this is a group of children.
Don't go outside.
Don't go outside. They can't get in your door. They don't know how. And also, why are you fearing for your life?
Right.
They wouldn't actually do that. Like, people can make threats all day, but the follow through doesn't usually happen. These kids wouldn't do that. Like, they're
Right.
not going to actually go and put their hands on her because they know better. They're just pissed.
Well, right. And because they're kids.
Yes.
Like, they know they can't beat up an adult.
Yes.
Like, come on.
Israel, or Izzy, he realizes that his tablet is missing and he's looking for it, realizes Susan's got it in her house. So after she made this call to the police, she then heard like banging on her door, and she was then once again fearing for her life. And she said, you know, she thought that whoever it was going to break down her door, was going to come in there and kill her, because whoever it was screaming that they were going to kill her and this and that, and allegedly. And so everyone in the neighborhood all of a sudden just hear this gunshot ring off. So on this ring cam footage, after they hear the gunshot, you see one of her sons come around you see one of the victim's sons come around the building, and he's knocking on this neighbor's door, and he's saying, she shot my mom, and he's crying. And the neighbor comes out, and they go out, they're calling police, and Susan calls the police again, and she's saying, oh, I just shot her, it was self-defense, and I thought that she was gonna break in here and kill me, and she kept saying she was gonna kill me. So the victim's children are now with the neighbors, and they actually call the father of the children so that he can come and be there and support them through this tragedy. And the police pull him aside. They inform him that she did not survive her injury and that she has unfortunately passed. And now he has to give the news to her 4 children. And, they're ranging from ages 3 to, I think, 14. And so he goes and he tells them, and the victim of this shooting was Ajika Owens, AJ. And she was only 35.
And I believe one of her sons was with her.
Yeah, it was because she was trying to get, it was Israel. She was trying to get Israel's tablet back. And because Susan had taken it.
Right.
And yeah, she was trying to get his tablet back. And that's why she was knocking on the door. That's why she got shot.
Well, that's not the only reason. Because So Susan threw that roller skate at Izzy.
Yes, she threw it right at him.
She throws the roller skate at Izzy, and when Izzy turns around, he says, "I'm gonna go get my mother," and she says, "Go get her." So that's another reason AJ was showing up. She literally told this kid to go get his mother.
Yeah, go bring your mom here.
Right.
Like, there is no way that this was not, like, maybe it was quickly planned, but there's no way this isn't what she wanted.
Right.
She wanted to do this.
So in Susan's 911 call, she starts out super shaky. You know, I just shot someone. She was pounding so hard that everything on my walls were shaking. And then her voice starts to even out. So I'm gonna read this from my notes that I took. The 911 operator asked her, "Do you know her?" And Susan says, "Yes. She's come after me several times because her children keep trespassing. They're bothering me and bothering me. They won't fucking stop." And so one of her sons was with her, and the 911 operator says, "Do you see the male subject or just the female?" And Susan says, "Her boys were here earlier. They keep leaving their garbage all over the house. And then I told them to take their crap away and get the fuck out of here." Really weird to jump from being so shaky and horrified that you just took someone's life to being angry about garbage, about them leaving toys. And it was toys.
Yeah.
And it was in the field. It wasn't in her yard. Like, she wanted to do this. And first of all, why are you telling the 911 operator anyway? Like, they don't give a shit. That's something you can talk to the police about.
Exactly.
The 911 operator doesn't give a shit. They just want to make sure that this person that you've just shot is going to survive. They're going to tell you how to do it, but she wasn't going to help AJ. She didn't give a shit. This was planned 100%. I don't think for a minute that she had no intentions of harming AJ that night or harming whatever parent showed up at her door.
Yeah. So now we're on June 3rd, the day after the murder of AJ. And Susan actually, in this interview, makes her first ever claim that AJ actually put hands on her. Not this night, but she said that AJ at some point, they had gotten into a physical altercation, which is the first we're hearing about this.
Right. Which, for someone that calls the police so often, you cannot convince me that they wouldn't have called the police on someone putting their hands on them.
Exactly. She tells the officers, I did not throw the skates at those kids. And there was also another instance where she was like waving an umbrella around at them or something in some sort of threatening manner. And she claims that she did not do that after so many neighborhood witnesses all back up the claims that she did. Like, there is literally no way for her to get out of these claims because so many people saw it.
Right. And she's playing on the I'm calm and I'm nice and I have this sweet tone of voice that's, you're going to believe me. But the cops are fucking over her.
Yeah.
They stopped believing her a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then the police officer asks her, "What were your intentions and what were you aiming at?" And she kind of just dodges the question. She just said, "I was just so scared. I just wanted her to go away." But that's not what he's asking you. What were you aiming at? Because you knew.
Well, but also you shot someone through a door, a closed door.
Closed and locked.
Right. So what were you aiming at?
It could have been anybody. It could have been a child.
Right.
They then let Susan not go, but, they bring her to her house, have her collect some of her belongings, and then they bring her to a hotel. So, I mean, technically, yeah, they let her go.
Well, in an instance like this, they have to wait for the DA to decide if this is something they're going to pursue. So they can't keep you if the DA is not pressing charges.
Yeah.
Which, again, back to racism, if she was anything other than white, the DA probably would have decided to press charges before she was allowed to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the DA wanted a little bit of time to think about this one.
So on June 4th, the day after her first interview, a couple of her family members and then her nephew, they all go over to Susan's house and they find that it's basically been ransacked. everything's broken, everything's busted up, which honestly, I don't blame people for doing that. I don't blame the neighborhood. And, the cops even said, the cop that escorted her family members to her house were like, well, I can't prove who did it, so I can't do anything.
Right. And they never show the inside of her house. So I tend to think that it actually wasn't ransacked. And I think somebody probably threw a rock or a brick or something through the front window
Yeah.
because they were talking about glass, which, sure, I don't think anybody went in there and fucking destroyed her stuff. Like that just, again, where's the fucking footage of that?
Exactly. Because the officer didn't go in the house.
Right.
It was just her family members. So on June 6, 2023, Susan actually agrees to do a second interview. Police want to gather a little bit more information, and they start asking her, have you ever said the N-word to anybody? She goes, no, never. He goes, okay, so what would you do if we had video evidence of you doing that? And she kind of just stops and thinks for a second, and then she was like, well, all she has to say is, well, if I did that, I'm so sorry. Shut the fuck up. If
Yeah.
I did that, you did, and they're literally telling you right now that they did and they've seen it.
Right.
You did. If I did, I'm sorry. What a half-assed apology.
Oh, but it goes back to her as a person with authority. She is nice and calm and the perfect neighbor.
Yes.
But in reality, she is a horrible shit human being.
And then they were asking her, this kind of drives me nuts because they never tell us anything, but they start asking Susan about searching up the Stand Your Ground law in Florida. And like I said, they never tell us when, but they start asking her if she researched it recently. And she was like, oh no, that would have been years ago. And they go, really? Really? Like they're trying to call her on her bluff.
Right.
But again, they never say when she actually did. But from what they're saying, I'm going to assume it was pretty recent.
Well, and it may have honestly been inconsequential because at that point they may have just been biding their time while they were waiting to arrest her and just seeing what they could get out of her beforehand that they could use at her trial. Because they knew that they were going to when they called her in.
Yeah. So they start asking Susan about basically the timeline of what she can remember. And so what she remembers is that she's in the bathroom. AJ starts banging on the door. She bangs for a few seconds, stops for like a couple minutes. And then Susan goes out to her kitchen so that she can find her phone. And apparently AJ starts banging again. And that's when she's saying, I'm going to kill you and this and that. So, she's looking for her phone. She says that, this is happening over like a 10-minute period. Or I guess for this, this second event happened for a 2 to 5 minute period. Overall, she says it's about 10 minutes. And, she's looking for her phone. And then she doesn't really explain where she got the gun, when she got the gun. She doesn't really explain that part at all.
Right. Was it sitting out? Did you have to go into your closet to get it? Was it in a lockbox? None of that.
Well, and that whole looking for her phone, you just called the police.
Right.
You're looking for your gun. Don't fucking lie. So yeah, she says that after her initial call to the police about, just about the kids, she says that AJ shows up 10 minutes after that. And then the police records actually show her initial call starts to the police at 8:54 p.m. It ends at 8:59. And then she's calling them about shooting AJ at 9:01.
So 2 minutes.
2 minutes this all happened.
So you're telling me that Izzy ran home, got his mom, she came across and banged for 10 minutes in a 2-minute period? And neighbors said AJ got 2 knocks in before Susan shot her through that door. And I 100% believe that account.
I do believe that.
Because it takes time for him to run home, tell his mom what's going on, for her to decide to come over.
Yep.
So if there's only 2 minutes I guarantee that that part of it took at least 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
So AJ, and may have even been more than that. AJ had at most a minute of banging on that door
Yep.
before Susan shot her. At
Exactly.
most. And I guarantee it was closer to what that man said. She knocked twice and Susan shot her through the door.
Yep. So the detectives tell Susan that she is being charged by the state with manslaughter, and they actually give her the opportunity to write a letter to AJ's children. And
I knew that was going nowhere good.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I know why they did it. It's really not because they care or that they're trying to actually get a good letter. It's to see what other evidence they can get out of her.
Exactly. It's really not, and I don't think, honestly, I don't think they ever showed that to the
Probably
children.
not.
I wouldn't. I didn't even think she was going to write it at first. I thought
I
she was
didn't
going to sit
either.
there and cry.
I didn't. Well, and her cry
Is
didn't-
fake.
Yeah, I really thought she was just gonna be like, "Fuck them kids."
Yeah. She does write them a letter. She puts it back down on the floor where it was before, and they come in.
But she only writes for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was a very short time. And once she was done, I was like, this is not going to be sincere.
No.
This is nothing. So they come in, both of the men come back in, and then they come in with a deputy, and they're telling her, you're going to go with him. And all of a sudden she's going, no, I'm not.
The tears are gone.
Yeah.
Not that I ever thought that there were real tears anyway, but like her demeanor completely changes from meek and docile and placating to obstinate.
Yeah. And yeah, she just keeps denying. And even while he's talking, she just keeps trying to talk over him and say, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And he's just explaining the whole process. And they let this go on for 4 minutes. 4 minutes straight of her just denying going with them.
Don't
just,
touch me.
Don't touch me. And like wincing back away from the deputy. And they keep just telling her, if you don't comply, we're going to take you by force. Then do it.
Right.
Then do it. Because she has denied you for 4 minutes straight now. Put her on the ground, put her in the cuffs, and take her away. Because there is no reason that should have gone on for that long.
No.
Zero.
I've seen footage of people that did far less for their crime that have been taken to the ground much fucking faster.
Yep.
And the fact that they let that go on for 4 minutes of her being under arrest, not even detained. She has fucking charges by the AD pressed against her.
Yes.
Or sorry, the DA. And you're just letting her tell you no.
No, I'm not. I'd be like, yes, the fuck you are, and I'll take you down if I gotta.
I'm counting to 3. And then I'm pushing you to the ground and cuffing you.
Then eventually she does get up and she goes with them.
Of her own free will.
Which I think 100% she should have been taken forcefully. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you're an old little lady. Fuck you.
I 100% agree.
So, they take her out. The detective comes back in and he reads her letter. And what it says is, I am so sorry for your loss. I never meant to kill your mother. I was terrified your mom was going to kill me. I shot out of fear. That's all you have to say to them? Your mommy was scaring me, so I killed her.
Right.
You're like the worst kind of evil. You are vile, rot of this world. Disgusting. You took a mother away from her 4 children. And like, they even asked her during this interview, you said you got on Facebook, what'd you see? And she's like, oh, I see all the headlines about, old woman killed this woman, da-da-da. And the detective was like, what I see when I log on Facebook is 4 children that lost their mom. She hasn't thought about these kids once.
No.
Once. And it's despicable.
She's just a gross human being.
Yes.
I mean, like we've said, I 100% believe that this was planned. She thought that stand your ground was going to be her defense before she even killed AJ.
Yeah.
And like I said, do I 100% think that she intended to kill AJ? I don't know. It could have been any parent. But with all of the racial undertones going on with this case, I feel like it was pretty plausible that it could have been that it was AJ on purpose.
Well, and I mean, she knew what kid she threw the skate at. She
That's what I
knew,
was going to say.
yeah.
She threw the skate at Izzy and said, go get your mom.
Mm-hmm. Who she had already had the previous problem with throwing the trespassing sign at her. Like, she already had that problem. She's had problems with her kids. I mean, every time that the police came over, it was about like Izzy and his siblings, because Izzy was the one with the dog.
Right.
The poodle was AJ's.
Well, and that was what I was going to say. I feel like a lot of the calls that we see, and again, this could just be for the sake of the documentary, that they're showing us the calls that specifically targeted AJ's children.
Yeah.
There could have been other calls, and there very well may have been, but I definitely feel like the creators of the documentary are also trying to point out that it seemed very much like AJ and her children were specifically targeted.
Yeah.
Which again, it may not be that way. It may just be the slant that they went with for this documentary, and that Susan was happy to kill any parent that knocked on her door.
Yeah, true.
Susan, in the very first call to the police, when she calls herself the perfect neighbor, she also says she's a doctor.
Did she?
Yeah. She doesn't say a doctor of what. And as we know, there's a lot of different types of doctors. The internet has tried really hard to find out what she's a doctor of. And no one can find any evidence that she is any sort of doctor at all. Not even like a fucking chiropractor.
If you can't find what kind of doctor someone is, they're not a doctor.
What are you a doctor of if you work from home? Now, granted, we know people that do telehealth medicine, so that is a possibility. But you would, if you were a doctor, like an MD or a DO or a nurse practitioner, people would be able to find your license.
Exactly.
So I don't know what even if you were a psychiatrist, people would be able to find your license. So what the fuck is she a doctor of? And it's never brought up again, and it drives me insane.
So the Netflix documentary actually makes a few points to touch on this. And they actually say that the stand your ground laws have been linked to an increase from 8% to 11% of homicide rates. And that's basically an additional 700 deaths a year. And that's a lot.
Well, I mean, in our state, somebody has to physically be in your home for you to have we don't have stand your ground law, but to have the defense of self-defense.
Yes.
For an intruder, they have to be in your home. Because when we were growing up, it was always, if someone's at your door trying to break in and you shoot them, before you call the cops, drag them in the house. Like, literally, people would say that.
That's crazy.
You better make sure they fall in the door and not out the door.
Yeah.
Because that's how it works here. And, I just, and to me, that makes more sense. That's an actual threat. Shooting through a metal door to someone that can't get in. Your door is locked, deadbolted, and it's metal, and they can't get in. But you claim they're a threat. Makes no sense to me.
And here's the thing, is that if AJ really wanted to break in and kill her, she has a fucking glass sliding door.
Right.
She could have thrown a rock through it. She's not going to be, I'm going to kill you and just banging on the door. If she has intention to kill you, she would have broken your glass door. You're a fucking idiot.
She's not an idiot. She well, I mean, she is that she thought that was going to work for her.
Yeah.
But she did it. Like I said, I think she was intent on killing someone. I think she thought she was. This is the other reason why I think that they took the idea, or not the idea, but went with the slant that it was AJ and her kids purposely, is because the stand your ground law does disproportionately work in favor of white people killing black people.
Yeah.
And I think that may also be why AJ was the chosen victim. And that Susan thought that she was going to be able to use that as her defense and get away with it. Even though, AJ had no weapon on her. And like you said, if she really wanted to get in, she could. There's a sliding glass door right next to her metal door.
Literally.
So, I mean, I really think that she thought she was going to get away with this.
Yeah. research has found that there's huge racial disparities with white Americans more likely finding success with self-defense when it comes to, going against black Americans. And I mean, that's what it all is that, because I mean, like you brought up earlier, she didn't have a problem with those other white moms. She had a
Yeah,
problem with the black
yeah.
moms.
You never hear about confrontations between the white mom that they used her ring camera footage with Susan.
Yeah, it's always just AJ, a
Right.
black woman with black children. Like, it's just,
That's the thing. Like I said, did AJ just happen to be the unlucky parent that knocked on the door that day? Or did Susan think there's no way they're not going to believe a white woman had to, feared for her life because an angry black woman, because they love to paint women, black women in particular as the angry black woman,
yep.
was here to kick my ass because of her kids.
Hmm.
I think whether it was planned for AJ or not, it was 100% planned, and it very well could have been planned for AJ,
Yeah,
because like you said, she specifically threw that skate at Izzy.
yeah. And then had him, like, literally encouraged him to go and get his mother.
Right.
After all that was said and done, Susan did get convicted. The jury found her guilty of manslaughter with a firearm, and she has now been sentenced to prison for 25 years. Thank God.
Yeah, but how many of those is she actually going to serve?
That is true.
I know every state is different. Like in some states, you only have to serve 60% of your actual sentence
Mhm.
before you can be considered for parole.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what Florida is, but she could essentially have to serve less than like 15 years.
Which I hope to God doesn't happen.
Yeah.
She deserves to be exactly where she is.
Well, but you do have to show remorse, and she doesn't.
Exactly.
So I can't imagine that she would be a candidate, because that is one thing they look for in parole, is even being able to fake remorse, which she is adamant that this was not her fault.
Yeah.
And that this was all based in fear, but the judge found it to be based out of anger.
Yeah, the presiding judge had found it to be not fear, but it was just, yeah, I think it was just the buildup of all of these times that she called the police, and finally she was like, I'm just going to take care of the problem myself.
Well, like I said, I feel like the proof was right there in that 911 call, where she went from being shaky and scared and horrified at what she did to being even and calm and then being mad.
Yeah.
I think that was such a good example of the type of person that Susan really was.
Mm-hmm.
The pretending to be like a meek, mild mannered older woman, but she couldn't keep that mask on for that 911 operator.
Well, and also multiple news sources now are stating that she's trying to still sue AJ's family
For what?
for all of the harassment that they did in the past. And it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to bring little baby children to court and then do what? Make them pay you money? You're fucking psycho.
You have to be a really fucking sick person to kill someone and then try and sue their orphaned children. Well, I guess not orphan, because they do have
went with their dad, yeah.
But to sue their children, to drag their children into court because of harassment that you say happened, even though police say didn't.
Literally, like, you're making something out of nothing, and she just further proves how horrible of a fucking person she is.
Right. And how little she regrets what she did. She doesn't have any regrets.
Because you know what? If if someone was harassing me for a long time and then I killed their mother, I would be like, you know what? I feel really bad, and maybe I deserve to get harassed because I'm a piece of shit. Like, I don't know. I think that would change my moral compass quite a bit. But she is standing strong.
Yeah.
I just feel so awful. I mean, this documentary, it made me cry.
Oh, for sure. When her son, when they asked if he was hurt, and he just said, "No, but my heart is broken."
Oh,
I just Oh, and then when their dad had to tell them, it was just horrible all around, and it didn't need to happen. 2 minutes in between hanging up and then calling back to say that she had shot her. Which, if she had found her phone, she was looking for her phone. How did she all of a sudden have you lost it in 2 minutes, but then you managed to shoot someone and find it again in 2 minutes?
At some point, they're discussing some of the crime scene photos, which, some of them are like within her house, and she has two firearms that she has both thrown into the trash next to her bed.
Right.
Why? Why'd you do that? You already admitted to them that you shot her. Why'd you go and throw your guns away?
Right, and what's really weird is that they weren't even hidden. They were just in the trash.
Just on top of all of the papers and shit she already had in there.
So yeah, that was I didn't even put that in the notes because it seemed so weird and like kind of inconsequential because I don't know what the purpose of it was.
Yeah, it was just very odd that she just all of a sudden like shoots AJ and then what goes and just throws them away, but not. I don't even know why
Right,
she
what were
did
you
that.
trying to say to the cops by throwing them in the trash? Like cuz that's it, clearly it meant something to Susan.
Yes, because I mean, other than that, you would have just put them like on your kitchen table or something.
Right.
Or I don't know how her place was set up, but I'm sure there was a counter nearby she could have set it on.
Right, and if you were trying to hide them,
You
you
would have
wouldn't have just
tried.
thrown them on the top of the trash. You would have actually hid them.
Exactly.
So I don't understand what the point of it was, unless she wanted it to look crazy and thought, well, that's my backup defense.
Yeah,
That
I
they
don't
drove
know.
me to insanity.
We have next week's hint right here, so if you want to go ahead and leave a comment as to what you may think that the episode will be, please go ahead and drop that below and let us know. And other than that, thank you for all the little stuff that you do, all the likes and comments, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.